Hey there, let's talk about building a successful mobile app to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and this is a topic and a strategy I have used for myself and for my clients to grow and build and supersize their business for several reasons. Number one, people are walking around nowadays with a computer in the palm of their hands. That means we are, with them 90+% of the day if we have a mobile application that they can use to access and engage with our brand and with our business. There's been a proliferation of mobile apps, as I'm sure you're well aware. There are literally millions and millions of them, and they're used to connect with our audience, to engage our audience, to create new revenue streams for us, to introduce people and familiarize them with our businesses and with our brands. So when they're ready to make a purchasing decision, if they can't do it on our mobile app, but we'll talk about that as one of the strategies, we want to monetize our app. It allows us to create multiple streams of income, more streams of income than just our website or just our physical locations, etc. So I'm going to talk about several strategies and several steps and things we want to make sure we keep in mind as we're building and creating a mobile app. A lot of times we think that we have to do these things ourselves, but we absolutely positively do not. And I would highly recommend getting an expert, but very thoroughly vetting that expert before you go about and engage in the project and process of creating a mobile app for your business and for your brand. And you want to consider a lot of these things I'm going to talk about really, really quickly, because I was involved in one mobile app creation that took over 2 years. You'll go to websites and they'll say, well, you can do it in a few months or up to a year. And I'm like, gonna say, whatever you think the time frame is, absolutely positively double it, because it will probably be that and then some. One of my friends is just launched her updated, upgraded, better version of a mobile app she had already. And it took her 2 years working with her development team. And she ended up, like we did, having to get another development team for that particular project. You can do it in-house if you've got the skills and the abilities, but a lot of times it's quicker and easier to hire someone to do it, but you really have to interview and vet and make sure that you're aligned with the project, or you run into bumps and bruises that are really hard to overcome sometimes. So first thing we want to do whenever we're creating anything in our business, including our business, is understand our audience. What do they want? What are their demographics? What are their pain points? What are their preferences? And so we need to know who our audience is. Then we have to define the app's purpose. What the heck? Why are we even creating an app? What's the app going to do? We have to be able to explain what it does and why it's in the best interest of the users to even have it or use it. Nowadays, there is so much competition to put stuff on your phone, and we all have literally dozens and dozens of apps, most of which we don't use. I think it's interesting, the new phones now give us a feature that tells us which apps we spend the most time on every week. And I look at that and I pay attention to that, and I already know which apps I spend the most time on. There's 3, and I spend the vast majority of my time on those 3 apps. And otherwise I don't use my phone for much, but there's a lot of apps on my phone that I use on an infrequent basis, but I want them because when I want to fly or when I want to buy something on Amazon, I can just push the button and I'm in the site, and it makes it easier for me, which is the next topic, designing a user-friendly experience. I think one of the most important things we need to do when we're designing a mobile app, as well as our websites and any other interaction with our customers, is it a user-friendly, a good, positive experience for them? We need it to work on our end from a business standpoint, but more importantly, and I say more importantly, because if the customers can't use it, they're not going to use it. If they get friction points and rubs and triggers, they're not going to use it, and that's going to cause it to fail, and we never want that to happen. So I think as a development team, that outsourced the programming and things, we spent more time interfacing with the app, testing that, feeling and figuring out the user experience than anything else. We actually hired an organization, and I've done this several times. We hired an organization to design the user experience and the look, and then another one to do the look and feel of the app. If we don't have that in-house, some companies have that in-house and they want it to match their brand. Others, and then after that, our development team takes the art and the design aspect of it, as well as the user experience, and then they program that and make it work, and then we test the living daylights out of it. We want to craft compelling content as part of our app. What's our app going to do? How is it going to have great visuals, great interaction, great speed? It's got to be quick and easy to use or people aren't going to want to use it. We have to then make sure that we have seamless integration between our app and our business goals. Got to know what's in it for us to create this app. How is this app going to make our business better? How is it going to bring us more people? How is it going to engage our audience more? How is it going to give us better performance from a business standpoint? Or we're not going to do it probably. We need to remember to use feedback and leverage feedback into our process, both our design process, and then once the app is launched, we need to listen to people, what's working, what's not working, because no matter how good your team is, you're going to miss stuff because you're probably not, and you may be, but you're probably not an active participant and user that you're trying to attract. We're going to use marketing and promotion strategies, just like movies launch a year or two in advance by giving trailers and little sound bites and creating buzz about when they're going to come out in theaters, etc. We want to do the same thing with our app. We want to let people know. And one of the best strategies we've used is to start to announce we're doing it, we're creating it, ask for input and things that people would like to see in our audience, engage them from the very beginning and let them feel like they're part of the process so that when the app launches, we already have a loyal group of people that are excited to use it. We also always use beta testers to test out and help in our audience to help us troubleshoot and see where the friction points or the pain points or where the copy doesn't make sense or the visuals are just off or whatever it might be, to make sure that the user experience is right on as well. We design in monetization strategies from the very beginning, at least in the groups that I work with. Is it going to be freemium? Is it going to have in-app purchases? Are we going to have subscriptions? What is the way we're going to add a multiple stream of income using the app? Or what is the overall purpose? How are we going to monetize that? I think that almost everybody's monetizing their apps nowadays in some way, shape, or form. We also want to build a supportive community. I think one of the first things that we usually do is we set up and start a community for our app specifically on various social media platforms so we can start to engage, start to get that user input and start to generate more buzz about it. We want to measure our success and, like with anything else, have metrics and know what's working and what's not. Fix what's not working, do more of what is working, and move forward and continually improve at all times. We want to stay agile and flexible in this ever-changing world. Our world is changing all the time, and if we're not willing to be flexible and change and pay attention to what's going on, we're going to be in trouble. We also want to remember to put in some innovation and pay attention to technology. What's the leading edge of it? Is there a way to incorporate AI? Is there a way to incorporate augmented reality into our app? Do we want to use blockchain? Whatever it is, there's emerging technologies all the time. And we want to make sure that if we're creating an app that we're considering those things, whether they need to be a part of it or not, or whether we need to make our app flexible enough that they might be a part of it in the future. One of the things that I have learned from working with teams when it comes to launching apps, I work with teams that want to have everything done and as good as perfect as they possibly can before they launch. And I work with teams that will launch just like cars and iPhones and TVs and other technology. They launch a viable option of their product and then they continually improve and iterate and keep launching different versions of it. We do that with software. We do that with a lot of different things. And it depends on your team and what you want. But I've seen both strategies be really successful. Of course, you get to market sooner if you launch a partial version of your product than if you wait for everything to be perfect that you ever wanted in it. Besides, there's no such thing. Sorry, bursting bubbles today. And then finally, we want to be able to scale our app for growth. And as the world changes, we want to be able to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. So we want to make sure we're building into it the ability to scale and grow and supersize, of course. So that's our topic for today. Love to know, have you been part of an app development, a mobile app development team? Have you created a mobile app for your business? Share in the comments below your experience, because that way we can learn from one another and not just hear what my experience has been. All right, have an awesome day. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.